Yeah, okay, good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. Dropping heat like every season. Underdog like Willie Beeman. Classic like Dom singing. Blasting like bombs ringing.
So, to start the show off today, before we get too deep into it,
Got a milk
what
jug.
we're starting with is OJ jug. What we're
O.J.
starting
Simpson.
with here, Jay Simpson did it. What we're starting with here, we're going to be predicting two different teams in the NFL, their records this year. So, to start out with, we are going to start with the Houston Texans. Regular season. There we go. Regular season week 1. I was going to say, I looked at this earlier today. That's not right. That's preseason. So, starting week 1, the Texans are going to Indianapolis to play the Colts. All right. And
the big game.
this is a win. This is a win for the Texans. It's Anthony Richardson's basically rookie season over again. They're going to have some growing pains getting used to him. First game, we're going to get to really see Anthony Richardson. I think I got to see him once last year and it was for like a quarter. So this will be the first time I'm really getting to see him play. I believe in CJ. Week 1 win. Next, they're going home and Chicago. What?
You need to take a breather here. You're huffing and puffing into the mic.
Week 2. The Texans are heading home and Chicago is meeting them there. So we get Caleb Williams versus CJ Stroud. In week 2, two of the hottest, biggest
Two of the hottest, biggest, girthiest, veiniest men we know.
Two of the biggest stars two of the biggest quarterback stars in the league. We get to test their mettle against each other. It's week 2, all right? Caleb Williams is not going to be Patrick Mahomes in week 2, unless I'm completely wrong. I don't think he's going to adapt that quickly. So this is a win for the Texans. We do get to see some late game heroics from Caleb Williams, though. He locks in at the end of the game. So a little bit, it ends up being kind of an interesting game. Next, the Texans are heading to Minneapolis. Or not Minneapolis, to Minnesota to play the Vikings.
In Minneapolis.
It's in their stadium's in Minneapolis?
No idea.
Sure, we'll go with it. They beat the ever-living shit out of the Vikings in week 3. It doesn't matter what quarterback is there in Minnesota, they're getting mollywopped a majority of the year probably, and especially in this game. So week 3 win for the Texans. They are starting out 3-0. They're hot coming out of the gates. Okay.
Hot and horny.
But now they head back to NRG Stadium. They head home to play the Jags. This sneaky spot, first loss of the year.
So predictable from him.
No, but listen, Trevor Lawrence is going to be locked in the beginning of the year because he just got his new contract. He's coming out hot. Everyone is probably going to be healthy. The Jags look pretty good in the beginning of the year usually.
A lot of hot guys in the beginning of the year.
A lot of hot guys in the beginning of the year. So this is their first loss, sneaky spot here. Jags get the win, and Trevor Lawrence goes for a big game. We might see a rare CJ interception during this game. He starts out a little too hot to begin the year. Week 5, they stay home and they play the Bills. Potential bounce back spot, but it's not. The Bills grab a win here, actually. It's a revenge game for Stephon Diggs, okay? And CJ tries to feed him a little bit too much. Stephon gets a little bit frustrated because he can't complete balls, and he
little ants in the pants.
And he's doing a little bit too much. He's just doing a little bit too much. His diva side comes out. So it ends up kind of just screwing up the vibe. So it's a loss. They're now 3-2 going into week 6. Big bounce back spot. They're heading to Gillette Stadium to play the Patriots. And it's another mollywopping. Huge bounce back spot. They're going to destroy the Patriots. It should be at the very least, like I would expect this to be like a 9.5 point spread. I will take whatever the spread in this game is. I'll take it. The Texans are going to mollywop them. Okay. So huge bounce back spot. They are 4-2 heading into week 7. They play the Packers. So they go to Lambeau now. Okay. Off of a bounce back game.
Yeah.
What's the vibe going into it?
Everybody's got to lose,
Everyone's got to lose. Yeah. But they head to Lambeau and they pull out a win here. It's
Yeah.
still early enough in the year. It's Sunday. It's a 12 o'clock game, middle of the day. And it's not quite too cold in Lambeau quite yet. To where the Texans are that affected. This is a big game for the defense. I'm going to call it right now. 1-2 touchdowns. Jordan Love tries to play a little bit too much of hero ball in the fourth quarter, throws a pick or two, maybe has a fumble, something along those lines. No Aaron Jones, but they do have Josh Jacobs. His health is up and down here and there,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I think Jordan Love tries to play a little bit too much hero ball in this game. So they get the win here, continue the win streak out of Foxborough, heading into week 8 now, 5-2. Go back home to play the Colts. Sweep. They beat the Colts again.
Sweep the Colts.
Sweep the Colts. It's week 8 at this point. Anthony Richardson's hurt and Joe Flacco's playing football there. It's his first week. This is actually his first week playing. So he's learning the system. He's learning his guys. And so it's not a close game, but we get to see Joe play football. So it's a good game. It's a great game. 6-2 heading into week 9. Now they travel to New Jersey, MetLife Stadium, to play the Jets. They're on a little bit of a win streak here. They've got a 3-game win streak. I think, though, this is a sneaky spot. I think at home, it's in New Jersey. I think the Jets get a win here. I think this is Sunday Night Football. I want to say this is Sunday Night Football. And I think this is Halloween. I think this is Halloween Sunday Night Football. Let me look.
Aaron Rodgers is still healthy.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna
Okay.
say he is healthy at this point. And you've got Breece Hall. The team and the defense is so good. This is gonna be a really great defensive game.
Hey,
but
they're ranked number 4th.
I'm gonna go out and say that Aaron Rodgers is healthy here. But let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, this is Halloween. This is Halloween. This is Thursday Night Football. Halloween, Thursday Night Football. I think this is a spooky win for the Jets. I think it's a close game, though, for sure. It's a close game. Defensive battle. I'm thinking like 24-17, something like that. Just kind of a gross dogfight.
Yeah.
And it's starting to get cold now.
Yeah.
But they head back home to Houston and they play the Lions. So potential bounce back spot, but not quite. They're going to drop this game to the Lions. Lions are hot. It's week 10, middle to the end of the year. They're starting to turn it on.
Everybody's getting cold. The Lions are still hot.
Lions win this game. They're also hyped because even though they're in an indoor stadium, it's still a little chilly, but they're in Houston. Houston. It's November. They're excited.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's chilly in Houston in November.
No, it's chilly in Detroit in November.
You said they're in Houston.
I know. So they're heading to Houston. So they're happy because it's a little chilly in Detroit, even though they're playing indoors in Detroit.
Okay. That was my bad.
No, you're all good. After that, it's an in-state rivalry game.
Ooh.
They head to Dallas.
In
Jerry World.
Jerry World.
To play Dak and CD.
And
what do
Micah
you think
Parsons.
this is? What do you think this is?
Honestly, they whooped the flipping Texans.
Well, it's a good thing you're not in charge of the Texans because the Texans get a win here.
Hell yeah.
It's the
Love
end.
that.
We're starting to get to the end of the year here, and the Cowboys are starting to have their fall apart part of the season. They always look great through the first 11 to 12 weeks, and then they start to drop games. This is the first game that they're starting to kind of look like, their wheels are starting to fall off. They've had control of the division the whole time, not anymore.
They're looking like the Cowboys.
They're looking like the Cowboys. They're dropping this game to the Texans. So huge win here for the Texans. They're full of a ton of confidence. They head back home to play Tennessee in week 12. This is a 34-point win.
All right.
Not 34, but it's a mollywhopping. It's a huge game they just won against Dallas. They got a ton of confidence. Stefan's starting to get back into his groove here. It's a big win. They beat up on the Texans. I would say, or the Titans. I say this is probably I'd say it's probably a 9.5 point spread. They'll probably give it. I would take it most likely. Touchdown and a half. Week 13. Now they head down to Jacksonville. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's warm. Obviously, it's warm in Houston, but they're playing outdoors. It's December. It's middle of the day, 12 o'clock. They're playing the Jags. It's a little bit of a revenge game. Obviously, they lost to them earlier in the year. They get the win here.
They get the win.
In Jacksonville. They get the win.
Like
Trevor
it.
Lawrence at this point is beat up. The contract doesn't matter. He's fully unlocked. Christian Kirk has running on one bum wheel. Travis Etienne probably punched somebody and is in jail. Who knows?
He's not as hot as he used to be.
Right. Not as hot as he used to be. They get the win here in week 13. Now, coming off of a 3-game win streak, they get a bye. So huge bye week 14. Pretty late in the year, though. Not like great, but definitely important to keep it together down the stretch. So going into week 15, 3-game win streak off the bye. They're playing Miami at home. This is a tough game for me because part of me is like, okay, Miami it's December. They've been playing a bunch of cold games in their division. They're off their game. They're coming into warm weather. Are they going to be excited to play in warm weather and they're going to ball out, or are they going to be so far off their game that they're just going to get beat up? I lean on the side that they're probably going to win this game. They're going to be spry. They're going to be excited to be playing in warm weather indoors. So I'm going to say the Dolphins get the win here. Texans take the loss. Heading into week 16, though, they're playing the Chiefs in Kansas City. Big game here. Big game. Week 16.
Big game. Playing the Chiefs in the latter half of the year is tough.
Tough. They're going to lose here, but it's close. It gives everyone a little bit of a preview like, oh, could we see a playoff matchup with them? This could be interesting.
This is when where every reporter that was hating on them comes back on the next morning and they're like, Patrick Mahomes is the best goddamn QB in the league. And I'm saying it since day one.
Right, exactly. This is a potential, exactly. And this is a potential playoff rematch, a potential playoff preview. And we're probably going to see, this is going to be a shootout, I think. This is just going to be like, sparks are going to be flying. CJ's just going to be playing out of his mind, rising to the occasion. Obviously, Patrick is Patrick. But like you said, ultimately, Chiefs get the win here. But it's kind of it's at 12 o'clock in the middle of the day, which I don't know why that this game is in the middle of the day. Anyways, heading into week 17, they're heading, they head back home now and they play the Ravens here. Another close game, but an unfortunate loss here. The Ravens are just the better team overall. The Texans put up a good fight though, coming off of the Chiefs game. They have some confidence from it, but it's just not enough. So on a 3-game losing streak, they've got the perfect team to bounce back in week 18, get the win, and go into the playoffs with their heads held high. They've got the Titans again. This game is even worse for the Titans because they are getting the butt end of Miami, Chiefs, and Ravens. They're getting the back end of it, which is just going to be all the anger and rage built up. They're just getting it unloaded on him. Sorry, pal. They're getting mollywopped in this game. This one might be a 2-touchdown game or something. It's also week 18.
They're mad, and then from getting it from the back end, they unload on the Titans. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah.
Right. And on top of that too, it's week 18. So it's going to be second half of this game is it's going to be, if the Titans are playoff contenders, they'll be playing kind of hard, but the Texans will be playing second string guys. If the Titans are good, then they'll be playing second string guys. It's going to just get out of hand. So Texans end the year. They had a 3-game losing streak in there. They had that one there. So that's 4. And then they had the 2 early. They had the 2 and then they had the 4. So there's 17 weeks, so 16 games. 18 weeks, 17 games. They are 12 and 5 to end the year.
12 and 5 then.
12 and 5 to end the year. I've got them as playoff. I've got them in the playoffs.
They win the division.
Yeah, they win the division.
Obviously, they sweep the Colts. Beat the Jags.
Split with the Jags. So that pretty much does it right there. And then Titans are in that division.
Oh, Titans are in that division.
Yeah, and they sweep the Titans.
Okay.
So the only game they lose in division is to the Jags.
Gotcha. All right. Pretty heavy, pretty high up on CJ Stroud.
They were
Writing
It's
them
one of the
high.
toughest schedules in the league. It's one of the toughest schedules in the league rated
Is
right
that
now.
that is rated?
Yes, I think
Okay.
they're four. They're tied for fourth toughest schedule in the league. They end 12-5, so a lot of promise there in
A
my
lot of
eyes.
promise, and they prepared for it like correctly. They got a number one, like a purebred number one. Like we don't know how Tank Dell was going to do, so they picked up Stephon because
Yeah.
Nico, as much as everybody loves Nico, I mean, we don't know how he's going to do this year. I mean, he's not truly a number one like Stephon is.
Yeah, I think Nico will blossom. That he's gonna get even more attention taken off of him because of Stefan, so he'll
Yeah,
be even better.
yeah,
And I
and
think,
he can go back to that just
and they got a
a
running
deep threat.
back. They got Joe
Yeah,
Mixon. They actually have a
yeah, that's
running
true.
back now, so that's gonna be a huge. If they were that good last year without one, they're gonna
Yeah,
be even better. And they also, I think they made some adjustments on the offensive line too. So
I would
just
have really loved them like picking up Aaron Jones because
yeah,
you're
but I mean,
getting
Joe Mixon's a good combo back.
but you have Joe Mixon, but he really thrives. He's more of a Devin Singletary for sure. He's more of that pass catching running back than I mean, he is a great balance guy, but I feel like he leans more into the pass catching.
But but he actually runs through the hole. Devin Singletary just falls through it.
Okay. Alrighty. Alrighty. I am excited for Joe Mixon to be on that team for sure.
For sure. For sure. I mean, it was my Christmas wish last year. I was like, what is my one Christmas wish for a team, not including a Super Bowl? It was the Texans to get running back, and they got one. So
They got one, and they got a good one too.
who's your
Mine,
team? Who are
the
you
one
taking?
I tried to choose someone that I haven't heard a lot of noise about.
Okay.
So I chose the Minnesota Vikings because ever since Kirk left, nobody's been really talking about the Minnesota Vikings.
No. Okay. I'm excited to hear this.
Already, I don't know the schedule, so you're gonna have to run me through it.
You're supposed to pull up the schedule. All right, I'll
Okay,
pull
I
it up.
asked you, should I look at the schedule? You said no.
No, I just meant you pull it up here.
Pull it up
Uh,
for me.
Minnesota Vikings schedule. Okay, I'll just feed you the games. You
All
make
right,
your decisions. Give us our predictions.
before we get into the games, preseason, it's a battle between Sam Darnold and JJ McCarthy. Sam
Yep.
Darnold wins the number one spot. He is the
Mhm.
starting QB going into week one. Who are we playing week one, Devin?
Week 1, you guys, Vikings are playing the Giants.
Giants. I say a very, very tight, close fought game that makes people question Sam Darnold being the number one QB, but they pull out a win.
Okay, so
But it's
1-0.
it's very tightly fought. So then everybody in the news is like, oh my goodness, should they have Sam Darnold here? He doesn't seem to be that great. It'd be better if JJ McCarthy was getting reps right now. That's what we're going with.
Okay, week 2, you're heading to San Francisco, or you're playing at home versus San Francisco.
At home. Okay, so we had week one where everybody's talking. Everybody's got to lose.
Yeah.
Very rarely do people go undefeated. Minnesota beats the San Francisco 49ers week 2.
Shock the nation 2-0.
It
All right.
happens. It happens. It happens every year. There's a
It
big
does.
shocker. There's a big
Week
shocker
2 too.
nobody's looking at. Yeah.
That's a good
week 2.
spot. That's a good
Yeah.
spot.
There's always a shocker. So they win, and then now everybody's like, Sam Darnold's the greatest QB ever. I've been saying it for my entire life. I came out
What does
the womb
JJ
saying
have in
it.
that game? Is he have a Randy Moss game where it's like 3 catches, 3 touchdowns, 100 and whatever yards?
JJ has, I don't know what I want to do here. Do I want to go with a mediocre game from JJ to where they
So who
use
goes
everybody
off?
else?
Oh,
TJ
like a Jordan
Hawkinson?
Addison goes off, TJ Hawkinson goes off.
I'm going to say this. They use everybody very equally and they pull
Okay.
out a win. I'm not
So it's
sure
just
if
a
it's a
team
big
win.
or a small one.
It's a
It's
team
a
win.
team win. And now
Okay.
everybody's like, he's
Defense is riding high.
Defense is riding
maybe
high.
some picks from Brock Purdy
Yeah.
earlier in the year. Okay.
Yeah, early in the
Okay.
year. I
All
like
right,
that.
week 3, they stay at home and they play the Texans.
And then off of that win, they lose.
Okay.
Sam Darnold loses, but this is a big game for Jay Jettis. Everybody's been wondering where he is. He shows up in this game. Has like 150 yards, 2 TDs, but it's not enough.
So 2 and 1
2-1.
heading into week 4. They play the Packers at home. Wow, long homestand here. 3 home games in 4. They start the week off, the year off 4 home games. Crazy.
Playing the Packers, they lose. Still the same thing. Jay Jettis has a great showing. Now people are questioning, Or is the team better without Jay Jettis? Because when Jay Jettis goes off, they don't win. That's what
Wait,
everybody's
no,
saying.
sorry. This is in Green Bay. I'm sorry. This is in Green Bay.
Doesn't matter. They still lose.
They still lose. Okay.
Still lose. Jay Jetta goes off, has a fantastic game. Everybody's like, oh, they seem to look better against San Francisco when they're using everybody else. They should get rid of Jay Jettis. That's what everyone's saying.
Okay, so starting the year out 2-2, heading into week 5, they play the Jets at home.
Week 5 versus the Jets.
Week 5 versus the Jets, 2-2.
Reverse Aaron Rodgers. Sam Darnold tears his Achilles. He's out for the rest of the year. JJ McCarthy gets the spot, and they come through with a crazy, diabolical win over the Jets. Sam Darnold pulls an Aaron Rodgers. He did it on purpose because he wanted to prove to everybody that he could come back within the season before Aaron Rodgers could.
So we're 3-2 heading into week 6. They are
3-2.
positive right now.
They're going crazy. A lot of shit's happening. This is a pure Jay Jetta's game, by the way. JJ McCarthy, he knows the guy he has to throw to look great, and he does it perfectly. He only throws basically the Jay Jettas. They win the game.
Okay.
First start, JJ McCarthy. Now everybody's riding high on JJ McCarthy. They're saying that Kevin O'Connell or Kevin O'Brien, whatever his name is, whatever the head coach's name, yeah, he's a dumbass because he didn't start him at the beginning of the year. That's what they're saying now.
Early bye, week 6. So coming out of the bye, coming out of the bye in week 6, they head into week 7 to play the Lions at home.
Lions at home. Long home stretch.
Hold on. I think that the Jets game is actually overseas.
That makes sense for the win then.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense for the win. So, they play the Lions at home. They play the Lions at home week 7. How are we feeling? Where are we at?
That's a loss. Mollywop. Now everybody's hating on JJ McCarthy. They're flip-flopping back and forth. They think he's buns, he's ass, because it was probably like a 34-12 type of game.
Tough game.
Really tough game. They got mollywop.
Okay.
Now everybody's saying JJ McCarthy's a bum. Get him out of the league.
Okay. Week 8, they head to LA to play the Rams. This is 7/15, the 24th, I think. Is this Sunday Night Football right here? 24th, 10/24. Let's look. 8, 9, 10, 24. This is Thursday Night Football.
Thursday Night Football?
Thursday Night Football.
I'm frozen.
He's frozen, ladies and gents.
I'm back.
There he is.
I'm back.
Thursday Night Football, week 8 against the Rams.
They lose. They go. So that's 3 losses straight after they beat whoever the fuck I said they beat. They lose. It wasn't a close game. It was probably a 2 touchdown scores ahead. It wasn't really that close. Okay. People really want JJ McCarthy.
It's on Prime.
Off the team.
It's on Prime. No one's really watching.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Okay. Heading into week 9, they go home to play the Colts. Week 9.
Colts week 9. Another loss. 4 losses in a row. Now everybody's screaming, JJ McCarthy, why would you ever draft this guy? This guy's terrible. How dare you guys make Sam Darnold tear his Achilles so JJ McCarthy could get playing time? You guys are the worst. We want to get rid of the Minnesota Vikings as a whole because you guys are so terrible. That's what they're saying.
Oof. All right, they head to Jacksonville to play the Jags in a Sunday game at 12 o'clock.
JJ McCarthy plays a stellar game.
Okay.
An amazing game.
Okay.
I'm talking 20 for 25. 0 interceptions.
Wow.
167 yards.
Low.
Shut up. I mean, he's not a deep ball threat. I mean, he throws it short.
Fair enough.
2 TDs. Those are breakaway TDs from their guys making plays. It is a close game.
Can't be that breakaway if he's only got 167 yards.
Great game from the defense.
Okay.
24-24 going into the 4th quarter.
Wow. Okay.
JJ McCarthy dislocates his shoulder. Out. Who trots onto the field? Joshua Dobbs, the Pastronaut, trots onto the field and goes crazy in the fourth
Okay.
quarter and clinches them that win over the Jags. Now
Okay.
they've gone through 2 QBs, and Josh Dobbs is the starter for the Minnesota
Okay.
Vikings, back where he belongs.
Back where he belongs. They go into week 11.
Backstory. They have picked up Joshua Dobbs. I don't think he's on the Minnesota Vikings currently right now, but he is on there. Like they picked him up somewhere throughout the season. As soon
Somewhere
as
in there.
Sam Darnold got hurt, they picked him up.
Okay. They said
All right,
he's a
so
known
backstory.
quantity. We'll take him.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So going into week 11, they are 4-5. They play in Tennessee against the Titans in a Sunday game at 12 o'clock. What's the verdict?
During the week, there's a picture that comes out that Jay Jettas and Joshua Dobbs are in the bowling alley, getting reps in together, building that connection together at Triple Play.
Triple play.
And they have a crazy game. Jay Jettas goes for 3 TDs, probably like 200 something yards. Joshua Dobbs makes basically no mistakes because he knows the offense now. He's not just going by what the guy says in his ear. He says, let me cook. And he rushes for 100 yards on top of whatever he did passing.
Wow.
And they kill the Titans.
Wow.
And then now
Okay.
everybody's saying, Vikings are back, baby. We want to keep them in Minnesota. Joshua Dobbs should have stayed here this entire time. He should have never left.
Wow. Okay. So they've got a 2-game road trip here. Coming off of the Titans game, they head to Chicago to play the Bears in week 12 at 5-5. They are at 500 somehow.
Joshua Dobbs, that smart son of a can't know what he's going to do. He's just better than all of us. And he has another amazing game because he sees the field differently. He sees it from space even.
Oh,
And he kills him with 300 plus passing yards.
wow. So it's a win.
It's a win.
It's a win.
It's a win over the
in
Bears.
Chicago.
Joshua Dobbs does it again, the Pastronaut.
Okay. So then heading into week 13, they go home to play the Cardinals.
And it's a
Indoor
win.
Stadium, by the way.
It's a win.
Win.
Easy win. Easy win.
Easy win.
Easy win.
Okay. Cardinals fall to the Vikings. Week 14, they stay home and they play the Falcons. New look Falcons.
Revenge game. Joshua Dobbs, he has a little sideline interaction with Kirk Cousins before the game. We don't know what they're saying, but there's shoving involved.
Wow, Kirk's pissed if shoving.
And you
is
could
involved.
definitely there's people on the internet. They're trying to read the lips of Kirk Cousins. There may or may not have been a slur thrown out. So
From
a huge
Kirk?
from Kirk Cousins. He
From
might
Kirk.
He might have thrown a slur out before the game.
Whoa.
So Joshua Dobbs is pissed. You know,
Okay.
a man that's been on the moon. He's now pissed off.
Okay.
And he throws for 400 plus yards and he beats them. He beats them racist sons of bitches down in Georgia.
Well, it's in Minnesota, but yeah. Okay. So win against the Falcons. They are 8-5. They are positive heading into week 15. They play Chicago again. This is an in-division game once again, at home.
You know how Tekken players, they might lose the first 2-3 games. And you know what they say in chat? They go, downloading. That's what Joshua Dobbs is doing, except for he didn't lose the first game, but he downloaded the Bears, and now he knows exactly what everybody on the defense is going to do at the exact time he's going to do it. So he's throwing out so many flipping pump fakes. Nobody knows what's going on, and he sends one deep to TJ Hawkinson to win them the game in overtime.
Okay.
Win Minnesota.
Bears win Minnesota against the Bears.
Yeah, they beat the Bears.
Okay, so then week 16, they head to Seattle. It's rainy, it's December, it's cold, it's outdoors. The 12 is probably back. What do we feel in week 16 versus the Seahawks at home
So let's talk about the stadium.
or away?
It's rainy. There's a lot of noise. They don't know what's going on. Normal quarterbacks couldn't perform when they don't have everything going on. I froze again. Oh no, I'm back. Normal quarterbacks couldn't perform when they don't know what's going on. But if you remember last season, Josh Dobbs won a couple of games without even knowing the playbook, not even knowing the plays. He didn't even know the people that he was passing to, and he still won. So this is not going to be a problem for Joshua Dobbs because he has the experience that when things get tough, he perseveres. So this is a win for the Minnesota Vikings.
Win for the Minnesota Vikings. So they head into week 17, 10-5. They haven't lost a game in like 6 weeks. They're hot as hell. They go home.
Joshua Dobbs is hot as hell.
They go home to play the Packers. This is an in-division game, important game.
And this is where things go downhill. You know, Joshua Dobbs, he hasn't seen the Packers that much. He hasn't played them that much at all. You know, it's a very tough defense. The offense, you don't know who he's going to throw to. Very tough game for him. But his nickname's the Pastronaut. So he throws for 500 yards. He gets it done, and they beat the Packers.
Jesus. Okay. All right. Heading into the final week of the year. Big game. Final game of the year. Division game. They play in Detroit versus the Lions. Stake possible playoff berth on the line. 11-5 right now.
And this is the toughest game that he's probably had to play all year. Playing the Lions latter half of the season when they're trying to get to a Super Bowl after everything that they've gone through. But who's gone through more? The Lions or Joshua Dobbs? He's sitting in the locker room. He's freaking out. He's like, I don't know if I can keep this magic going. I don't know if I can keep it rolling. But then he thinks to himself, is the Detroit Lions harder than playing on 3 different teams in one season and winning flipping games? No, it's not. So he goes out there and he smokes the Detroit Lions. That's a win for flipping Josh Dobbs, baby.
All right. So their final record is 12-5. Playoff berth pretty much secured. Seems like they're the 2 seed in division. Most likely, I'd imagine.
Josh Dobbs is the starter for the next 10 years after this season.
Wow. Franchise quarterback.
He finally gets what he deserves.
Franchise quarterback, huh?
You know, he sat there in the locker room sometime and he's like, is this harder than delivering Amazon packages? And he's like, no, I can do that with my eyes closed. So I could throw a touchdown with my eyes closed. And he did that.
Okay.
That's why he went to the moon. That's why he was on the moon.
So the Minnesota Vikings are going to have the same record as the Texans this year.
And they'll probably beat them. If the Minnesota Vikings and the Texans meet playoff Super Bowl in the Super Bowl, they'll probably win.
Wow. What a ride. What a wild ride. They ended the year with like 7 wins.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
Wow.
It's crazy. I can't believe it either.
What a wild ride. That's all I have to say.
That's how crazy flipping Josh Dobbs is, bro. He's a super genius, you know. He's like Lex Luthor, but he's good and he plays quarterback. I was in there and I was like, I should give him a loss, but then I was like, I can't. I was like, for the story, he just has to be perfect. Ever since Josh Dobbs gets his starting job, he just has to win.
All right, welcome back to the show, guys. I'm Devin. That's Zane. This is Buffet Sports.
It's the first time we've done this.
If you want to see more of us, you can catch us on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at buffet.sports. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so go ahead and drop us a sub down below. If you want to be a part of the show, comment. If your take is good enough, it will be a part of next week's show. Let's jump in. So to start with, we're gonna do a list for the top 8 teams with the most player arrests
Racist.
in NFL history. All right. Are you ready? Top 8.
Browns. Lock it in.
Yeah.
Where are they?
They are number 6. They have
number
40
6?
total arrests.
40 total. Jesus Christ. Okay. Oof. I'm trying to remember the ones I've already said. Oh, Broncos, right? Broncos.
Yep, they're 2.
Yes,
they're
I don't know how.
56.
I don't know how the flipping Broncos are 2. That makes no sense to me.
Hey, man, we're dogs.
We're dogs, apparently. Let's go with another one that we wouldn't think of. Let's go with Green Bay Packers.
Not just outside the top 20.
Let's go with prestigious teams. San Francisco 49ers. They've been around for a while. Lock it in.
Inside the top 20, not the top 8.
That doesn't help me. Oh, Jaguars, Florida
Yep,
team.
they're 4. They're number 4. They have 41 total arrests, tied with 4.
Let's go to the Big Apple. Lock in New York Giants.
Nope, they are outside of the top 20.
Jets. I meant lock in New York Jets.
Outside of the top 20, both of them.
Fucking son of a bitch. That mafia money is great, huh? Where would people get arrested at?
There's one team that's a contender that's tied with the Jags for 4.
I mean, they have rowdy fans. I don't know if they have rowdy players, but let's go Bills.
Not inside the top 20.
Contenders. Well, now I'm just going to start naming them. Cincinnati Bengals.
They are number 3.
Number 3.
51 arrests.
Yeah, Cincinnati. People love getting arrested in Cincinnati. Who would have thought?
So you have 2, 3, 4, and then 6.
People love driving fast. Let's go Arizona Cardinals.
Outside of the top, just inside the top 20.
Colts. I'm just thinking of teams that I wouldn't normally
Just
get.
outside the top 8. They are
Son of a-
9. They are 9.
What other teams are there? New Orleans Saints. People in New Orleans, Mardi Gras, people have got to get arrested on Mardi Gras. New Orleans Saints, lock it in.
They are number 12. Outside the top 8.
Okay, let's just go both California teams. Let's go LA Rams and Chargers, locking them both in at the same time.
Eh.
What are you talking? It's LA, for Christ's sake. You have sex with a hooker, you do some blow. That's what LA's about. Have I said the Cowboys?
No, and they're not in there.
Fuck.
We're looking for the bot. So number 8 has 38. The top has
Give me
57.
hints. Give me hints. This is
Okay, you were on the right track. Remember with the Florida teams.
I already said all the Florida teams.
Well, what's the other one that you have to re-say?
The Bucks?
Yes, they are 8 with 38. So you have
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 6, 8. So you have 1, 5.
Let's
7.
go with the Patriots. Lock in the Patriots.
No, they're way outside the top 20.
Of
25.
course,
They have
Bill
25
Belichick
total.
with flipping Aaron Hernandez was on that team. What are you talking about? God, this flipping list, dude.
There's still a team
It's
out
a
there that's
political
one of.
list.
There's 2 teams there's one team that you love, and there's another team that we've talked about recently, very recently.
Okay, nobody in Tennessee is getting arrested. Nobody in Tennessee is getting. It's fucking Tennessee. Who's getting arrested in Tennessee?
They are number 7 with 39.
What are they doing in Tennessee?
I don't know.
They're getting
I genuinely
arrested.
have no idea.
It's not a speeding. They're in fucking Tennessee.
We have 1 in 7 or 1 in 6 left. 1 in 5. 1 in 5 left. Number one.
Number one should be easy, but it's not.
It's not. You're not gonna believe it when you
I feel
hear
like
it.
I've said every team on here. Okay, so what about let's think about Tennessee. Tennessee, nothing's there. People love to get arrested when there's nothing to do in the city. Let's lock in Minnesota.
That's actually a good hint for yourself right there.
Yeah.
For the last 2, that's a great hint for yourself.
Let's lock in Minnesota.
That is number 1.
Yes! Yes! Nothing to do with
57 arrests.
Jesus
Minnesota.
Christ. What, is there a lot of strip clubs in Minnesota? What are they
Your
doing?
Your last one is number 5. They have 41 arrests. They are tied with Jacksonville at 41.
I think there's literally only 2 teams that I haven't said, and so it's a 50-50 between the Seahawks and the Steelers, because that's the only team I haven't said.
There's one more.
You shouldn't have said that, because now I know that there's somebody else that I haven't chosen. I feel like I've said the Texans.
You did say the Texans. They are the least arrested team in the NFL with 17.
Place where nothing is at that I haven't said. Brother, I've literally said every team except for the Steelers.
It was a hint that it's a team that I gave a hint about earlier.
I've already said every team,
I
though.
feel like you've looked at it so many times.
I've already said every team.
There's one specifically you have.
We've said Browns. We've said Cardinals. Ravens was an earlier one. Just said Houston. We got Minnesota. We've said Indianapolis. We've said Broncos. We've said them. These two were not in it because I remember I voted both of them at the same time. They're one. We've already put the Chiefs because Rashi Rice.
Oh yeah, that was the last one. I didn't know you said that. I didn't know you said the Chiefs.
Well, I did. Here's the problem: is that we don't have the VOD because Zoom crashed. But I said the Chiefs.
Oh,
You did
okay.
not. You did not give me the yeah. They're on there.
Okay. There you go. That's the top of the list. So the top 8 teams with the most arrests in NFL history, starting from the bottom. Number 8, Bucks with 38, Tennessee Titans at 7 with 39, Cleveland Browns at 6 with 40.
That makes sense.
The Chiefs and the Jags are tied at 5 or 4, whichever way you want to look at it, at 41. The Bengals are at 3 with 51. Large jump there. And then the Broncos have 56, and the Minnesota Vikings top off the list at number 1 with 57 arrests
Broncos don't
in their
make any
history.
sense. The Broncos
None.
make no sense. What are you doing?
The only thing I can
Denver,
think of is
Colorado?
before weed became legal, maybe.
Ah,
I think that could be
a lot
the
of
big thing.
Democrats getting in these players' heads. A lot of Democrats trying to mess up the funk. I mean, I don't know. Shannon Sharp seems to be a high roller. He seems to roll the dice a lot with what he says. Maybe in Denver he was influencing a lot of things. He seems to be a little horn dog too. Maybe it's some illegal
Little
activity.
bit, dude. Have we,
Yeah.
dude? I don't think we talked about that enough. Unk is wild on his pod, talking about
He's
Skyrie
great.
and Megan Thee Stallion, dude.
He's
Dude
great.
is
Let him do it. I mean, how old is he? I mean,
50 something. I don't
yeah,
know.
you got to get it somewhere. You know, the excitement being an NFL player, you have it all. Now you're not. You're just some
Speaking of
newsstand.
Shannon, have you seen the Skip is stepping down?
I have seen that, and
Apparently he's asking for a contract. It's like 32 million, and he's like a free agent at the end of this year. So he's considering like ESPN. He's probably going to go to his own pod.
do
He's
we
definitely
think
going to be
people
doing
are
his
going to
own
sign
pod
him for
more.
32 mil?
No shot, dude. No one wants to watch that old fart, dude. I'm sorry. He lost it.
I agree.
Shannon was the only thing good about that show. Like Shannon made Skip interesting because he was so it's like you and me. Like he had if I
Don't
left
say that. Don't you fucking say that, you son of a bitch.
what?
If you left, I'd be nothing. If that's what you're trying to say. You're trying to
No,
say if you left, I'd be nothing.
no. I'm saying if I left, you would be you're Shannon in this scenario.
I'm black. I'm black.
You
Can't
have
take it back. I'm black.
you have the more personality like Shannon. I probably would. I might. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe people would like me enough, but I might suffer the same fate as Skip. Skip is. I'm not as.
All
I
it
don't.
takes,
I
you
don't know if
just
I'm that
lose.
crotchety, but
You just lose
Skip
that
is
glow, brother. You just lose that smile. You know, the
that
little
light skin
whiteness.
glow.
Yeah, that whiteness in your teeth goes away, and you go downhill.
Yeah, man.
You're just a piece of meat for people to look at.
What a descent from greatness, or popularity, not greatness, but what a descent from popularity for Skip, man. Like,
Well, what it really shows is how great marketing is, right? Because you can market a guy like that to when he's by himself, when he's with other people that aren't as great. People think that he's one of the best sports commentators in the world, and then just one dude leaves, and you're like, wow, this guy's really not interesting. I really don't like him.
the show's just,
He's
the
pretty
show's just not
whiny.
interesting anymore. He's whiny. The show's like, the debates aren't the same. I think it was because I think the other thing too, what he suffered from, and this is the reason why I don't know if they'd bring him to ESPN, is because my theory is that the reason the show went downhill, talking when you watch it now, people are afraid to really get into a disagreement with Skip because he'll go personal,
Yeah,
which he did with Shannon.
he's very much like you in that way. Old you. Like I'd call you a nerd, and you'd be like, "Haha, your grandma died." You know, that was old you, and it's very hard to be around people like that. But you've changed. You're a great guy now. You're a man I'd love to spend a night with. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus. But seriously though, I think that people are just afraid to like, especially on national television.
Yeah.
They just can't get. You can't debate with a guy like that. Um, and
Yeah, you can't debate when you're like, here's the stats, here's what I feel. This guy's great.
yeah,
And then he goes, you're a loser.
and
Right? You know that?
Shannon had a unique ability to take it and just turn around and be like, Skip, you're, whatever. But he finally hit his breaking point, and we all kind of know what I'm talking about there. If not, I'll try and find the clip and put it here. Or well, I guess it'll be the whole screen, but
Yeah.
Because that's just you have no objectivity. It's just straight Brady hate. Wait a minute. This is just straight hate by a guy who's jealous that he is still playing at a high level at 45 when you had to stop at 35.
Skip, that's what you do.
That's the point.
That's what you do. Every time I call something into question, I'm jealous.
No,
Skip, I did what I
never
did.
said you were jealous of Baker Mayfield.
Skip, I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame.
Okay,
I got three Super Bowls.
So what?
So what?
He's way better than you were.
I'm better than you.
Better.
Skip, what I got to see what you do? You take personal shots.
No, I don't take personal shots. You started it.
Time out.
yeah, man, just what a fall from popularity for Skip.
Yeah, I for me, it's warranted. I think it's when you watch
100%.
him by himself, you kind of look back and you're like, wow, were we really just here for Shannon this whole time? It felt like we were here for both of them. But when Shannon's not there, when there's not like a dude who's clearly better than him in every regard, taking shit from him,
Yeah.
because when it's like some dudes that you've never met and he's like shitting on them or like making like some weird argument, it's like you're just like bullying the guy. But when it's a guy, when it's an NFL Hall of Famer like Shannon Sharp, right? You kind of get people on your side because it's like, this guy's great. I'm jealous of him.
Well, and they tried to, in the initial episode of the show where they tried to reboot it, after Shannon left, they brought on Richard Sherman and they did this whole like forgiveness bullshit thing. And it just was like so fake. Like you could tell Richard was just like, why am I here?
Well, Richard would need a Shannon Sharp because Richard is exactly like Skip, right? Because Richard's a big shit talker. It doesn't make sense to have two shit talkers shit talking the entire time because there's nothing good about it. You need one dude.
100%. It's just it's wild. And I can't see a network giving him 32 mil. I'm sure he'll just go to his own podcast.
Have you heard about the rumor that I'm smarter than you?
Is that Kanye?
That is Kanye, but that's not important. Have you heard about the rumor that I'm smarter than you?
You're smarter than me?
Yes. Study says people who stay up late are more intelligent than people who wake up early. Studies show I'm a lot more functionally smarter than you, my good sir.
Look, I can shift my schedule. If I could shift my schedule to where I do the opposite. I stay up late. I'm functional either way.
I mean, maybe if you stayed up a little bit late, you'd be a little bit more like me. You know, I'm wearing glasses. You're not. I'm smarter than you are. Why do we think this study is right? Why do we think it's wrong? Dig into how they did the study. I have a take, but I want you to kind of riff and give me a little take. Why do you think this is right or wrong? How do you think they did the study? See, this is why
they probably did it based on college kids, and most college kids stay up late to get their stuff done because they either are gonna do their homework after binge drinking or to stay up late to do papers rather than just get up and get it done because they were up late doing it. So it's probably just young people.
My theory about this is that people that wake up early, you look at Mark Wahlberg, you look at all these finance gurus who sit on the internet, when they wake up early, or like let's even take David Goggins into account. They wake up early and then they go run. Or like they go meditate, they go read a book, right? When you wake up early, you add shit into your schedule that you normally wouldn't do. But when you wake up late and stay up late, you're just doing your regular shit, but except for you're just working more, because it's like burning the late night oil. You just like when you're staying up late, you're just like working more compared to people who wake up early. They just add shit into their schedule, like working out for one. Like if somebody's going to start waking up early, they're most likely going to add working out into their schedule. So then it doesn't really matter that they woke up that early, because all they're doing is they're just working out. They're not like
I
working more.
disagree. I think it's a thing of it's what are you doing? I think for the people that wake up early, they want to do shit that's out and about when other people aren't. People who stay up late are just doing stuff for themselves.
That's
so they don't.
exactly what I said.
I understand that, but I don't think that makes you smarter or like dumber.
To the point to where they want to be out and about. They're not working at anything like, let's say, homework. For like, nobody's waking up at 6 a.m. and doing homework. People are doing
used
homework
to.
later. You can think so. I just don't think many other people would think that way with you, that most people do homework after classes.
Sure.
And they
I
stay
mean,
up later.
you're right, but that's my point. I just think that's why I think there's the bias. I think that people are.
I think most people that wake
Yeah.
up early add shit that they wouldn't normally do. And that's why this study is
But wouldn't
correct.
that mean, okay, so you're smarter if you stay up later, but you're less productive. There you go.
No, not
Yeah.
true. Because you're adding
Because you're
random
literally saying
shit.
he's random. That's not random.
You're doing devotionals, you're meditating, right? You're taking cold
I
plunges.
do all this. I do everything for the podcast in the morning. I work out and then I do everything in the podcast in the morning and then I go to work. Because my schedule ends at 9 o'clock. So I'm
But
not
you
gonna
edit the podcast in the later half. You edit the podcast at night.
I edit the podcast in the morning most of
Okay,
the
so
time,
now we're
bulk of
lying
it.
to our viewers. We're lying to our children.
What?
Brother, you act like we don't communicate when you're like sitting there like talking to me and you're like, yeah, I just edited this. Most of the
that
time you
was
talk
last
to me.
week. That was just last week.
Oh, new person, new week, new person.
That was
Now he
just
does it in the morning.
for the most of the couple weeks. Once we made the schedule change, I'd been doing it in the day on Sundays.
When you don't work.
Right.
So days you don't work, you're productive in the mornings.
And then the days that I do work in the morning, or I do work, I go to the gym and then I come back, and that's generally during the week is when I'm waking up early and I'm posting, and when we're posting videos, so I get all the videos ready and everything during the week and look for topics during the week.
After work?
And
After
before
work, you do more. Do you do more before
No,
work
I
or
don't.
after work?
Before. I get home at 9, dude. I go to bed at 9:30, 10. I have an hour. I'm not gonna get shit done then.
Can't talk to this guy. He's a liar. He's a liar and a cheater.
What are you talking
He
about?
cheats on his wife too.
You're not even awake for the time that I'm awake. You don't know what I do before you would get up.
Exactly. Because I'm smarter and I'm more intelligent. Studies show Zane's more intelligent. Maybe you should switch to doing your work in the afternoons.
No. Okay. I'm Devin. That is Zano the fifth. We are Buffet Sports. And if you want to be a part of the show, go ahead and comment down below. We take the best comment every week, and it's a part of the show. We might do one tomorrow. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're on the voyage towards 1,000 subscribers. 1 million subscribers.
1 million, 100 million.
If you don't sub and like, Zane will haunt you in your sleep. Be careful. He's a spooky mother heifer.
I'm Freddy Cougar, but
Ciao,
I
guys.
do different things. A lot of different things than Freddy Cougar does.